I would rather take advice from single women than married women because most of the married women I know are suffering and being treated poorly and then turning around and pretending like everything is all good on social media. No, thank you.
That's so crazy. Ain't you the same lady who said she wanted to date out her race? Like specifically date out her race? Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. Married women are being treated poorly. You know what single women are being treated like?
Single women?
Exactly. They're single. Ain't nobody got time to treat them any type of way. Have a Coke and a smile, madam. Sprinkle, sprinkle.
Sprinkle, sprinkle. Hey, I'm Latoya Lamb of the Gary Lamb Network, and these are my reactions and opinions from a married woman's point of view. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
We disrespect our men during arguments. We get mad if they say something we don't like, or we throw a temper tantrum if the conversation not going our way. But we still expect our men to communicate and express themselves to us more. So try this approach. Baby, sit down. What's on your mind? Now rub his back while he's speaking and don't interrupt. It'll stroke his ego knowing his woman is listening to him. If he's making reasonable points, don't try to argue it or say, I'm going to work on it. Say, okay, baby, we can work on that. When he starts expressing himself, give him the reassurance that he needs to feel strong and secure in his position as your man so he can express himself more.
Right.
Instead of yelling, give soft-spoken solutions. Instead of being in competition to see who can hurt who the most, compete to heal, support, and encourage. Also, while y'all arguing, stop all that name calling and work on better habits after arguments like hugs, kisses, apologies, and adjustments.
When people say you're not listening to me and we simply parrot back the words that they were said, congratulations, your ears work. That is the act of listening. But the art of listening is creating an environment in which the other person feels heard. I don't want to know that you heard the words. I want to feel understood.
That right there is real key. And through a lot of work and constant work, you tend to learn your mate at the level that they're at because we evolve. So the same way that they used to respond, chances are they may not always respond, that way later. I loved how she said, don't hit below the belt. Don't interrupt them. Reassure them. And the last part is key because people say, well, I'm listening, or I heard you, but you weren't listening. And so for me, that's really important. And also I'll add to repeat what you say and then have them, or say whatever it is that what you feel and have them repeat it back to you so that you know that they heard what you intended and not what we tend to make up in our minds, and also I just love the whole thing. I love how she said, after, instead of the name calling and all of that, like I said, hitting below the belt, let's help each other heal. That was some good stuff.
Everyone says marriage should be 50-50. It's the biggest crock of bullshit I've ever heard. Ooh. It's never 50-50.
Right. Yeah.
Ever. And so what we do is we quantify where we are. So if Steve comes home and he'll be like, I got 20.
Yes.
Just in terms of energy.
Just energy, investment, kindness, patience. Mm-hmm. I'm at a 20. Mm-hmm. And I'll be like, I'll cover you. I got you, brother. Like, I'll pull the 80. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we come home, which we have done a lot. My mom has been sick, and I'll say, I've got 10. And Steve, like 2 days ago, said, I'm riding a solid 25.
Yes.
So we know that we have to sit down at the table anytime we have less than 100 combined and figure out a plan of kindness toward each other.
Oh, I love that.
Let's sit down at the table anytime we have less than 100 combined. That was good.
Yeah, because the thing is, marriage is not something that's 50-50. A partnership works when you can carry their 20 or they can carry your 20. And that when you both just have 20, you have a plan where you don't hurt each other.
Oh, that right there. People talking about goals, relationship goals, all this craziness that's out. How about goals? Be honest with each other. You ain't got it, I ain't got it. Well, how we going to get through this one? That right there, somebody can just throw the mic at it. Just throw the mic at it. That was good.
Joya?
Yes.
You didn't ask for another date with him. What was the turnoff?
The turnoff was when I asked that question about would you date a single mother? And Jacoby, you proceeded to tell me that basically you're a high value man and you are too good for a single mother. You did also tell me that you were raised by a single mother, which is profound for me to think that a single mother's not good enough for you, but it's good enough for a woman to raise you. That's unfair. And it's very insensitive to women out there who have children.
Just because it's a cycle, I wanted to continue.
It doesn't have to continue.
So what I'm saying is that
it's more about why would you cut off and say that single women are not on the same level?
What you're supposed to learn from is history. So
What's that got to do? What's that got to do?
You're a very intelligent woman. You're a very intelligent woman, right?
Yes.
So if you know, as a woman growing up, you know it's the less likelihood for you to be successful by having a child. So what you do, you be more proactive.
I need a minute.
What makes you think you're a high-value man? The car you drive?
No, the value I put out into the world.
What about your character?
I have great character. I've built myself to basically have better choices. You want to know why? Because women can choose and make a choice.
They can.
They can say, I don't want to date a man that makes less than 6 figures.
They can.
And then what are you doing? You're
But we're not
demeaning a man.
talking about that. That's not the situation that
Listen,
Why is it so different for this man to say he's settling? But I have seen a plethora of women who have, I mean, the laundry list is longer than the laundry. I mean, the list is so long and they're not settling. But for him to, as many people say, quote unquote, singled out single mothers, now he has an issue and they take issue with him because to him, he's settling. It's a preference for him. If he has established himself in life, especially if he doesn't have any children, I don't know. If he's saying, I prefer for her not to have a child prior to our engagement with each other and our, relationship with each other, that's his preference. That's his standard, because many women have standards too. Then so now he's vilified because he has a standard. At the end, he came off a little arrogant. Egypt was talking, or maybe it was that he wasn't finished with his statement and she was trying to wrap up. I don't know. He did have an air about him in the end. And I personally take issue with arrogant people. That's men and women. But yeah, I'm like, you were triggered, man. Yes, you were. She was triggered. She got very emotional. It was an emotional trigger. And they don't have to agree, but it is true. It was a choice. And what he was saying was, you have to take accountability for your actions. She didn't like to be taken to task on that. And here comes Mr. Rescue sitting next to her like, whoa, let me interrupt you. I don't know this guy. I don't know if he's high value or what. Character is everything, because I agree with him. You could put all of that money out and so what? You could still be a jerk. So the money's not the issue. It has a lot to do with his character. And they take issue with each other because they do not agree.
We are all defined by the sum of our deeds and our character, and you, brother, are coming up to the sum of 0.
Amen.
Y'all ladies gotta get y'all emotions under control. You have to. This is your weakness. Because your emotions are so unhinged, and when you get triggered by something, all logic go completely out of the window.
I agree.
And you be so consumed with being upset and triggered, you'll start putting words in people's mouths. You'll start creating conversations that never happened. And that's scary. When I commented on this video and I said that this man made a lot of points, all of these comments came at me from women talking about, well, he didn't have to disrespect single mothers. He never disrespected.
When did he disrespect them?
That's what you heard. For some reason, whenever you get a reality check that you're not going to fall in the boat of a prospect of every man, you feel some kind of way. Whenever you hear somebody say that they don't want to be with something that you fall in the category of, you don't know how to simply hear it and move on.
Right.
You personally have to take this as an attack on you, as if they singled you out and are talking disrespectfully to you when all they simply telling you is that they have a preference and you're not part of it. Did he say something disrespectful? No, he didn't. Did he word it in a way that you might didn't like? Possibly, right? But I'm not here to say how he should have said something, because y'all do the same thing to me, right? I can say something with no harm intended and you'll find a way to make it ill intended when I say it, right? So I'm not even here to play those games with you. But at the end of the day, he didn't disrespect single mothers. He didn't say anything negative about single mothers. The only thing he did was identify himself as a self-proclaimed high-value man. And he said in that means that part of it is that he don't want to date a single mother.
Right.
He is a man who doesn't have kids. Guess what? That would be him settling. And then y'all had the audacity to bring up his mama as if his mama being a single mother would have anything to do with
any
him
bearing.
and what he would choose to be with. Why exactly would that mean that he would want to go back and just repeat the same thing he's seen growing up? Most people with common sense, they try to do better than their parents did. They don't go and repeat history. See, that's what a lot of y'all like to do. You like to see your mama, grandma, great grandma make poor decisions and then just go out and recreate that same cycle over and over again, and it just becomes a vicious cycle. Y'all need to let go of this whole using men's mothers as some type of gotcha moment on why they don't want to do stuff. A lot of times what they mama did is exactly why they don't want the things that they don't want.
That's correct. It is something magnificent about accountability and ownership. I really try to live my life this way because we have to do the work. It's an internal work. It's a you work. My husband says this all the time. We're going to coin the phrase and we're going to copyright it too. I am not about to fight you, fighting you. And it's something in that woman. It was something within her that got her super triggered. She did not like what he said. It was his preference for his life. He felt as though that he's settling. He could start his life afresh and anew. That's the same difference as being equally yoked and unequally yoked. Here's this one person who doesn't have this going on, but you do. And you're probably a wonderful catch. But you have this other entity, you have this other aspect of your life, which is a major aspect of your life. And why does any and everybody have to deal with it? Because of the choice you made. If it were a man and say you don't have a child, but he has a couple baby mamas, a couple children, he might be a great catch. But that might be a hard no for you. Because why? You had other aspirations. You want to do other stuff with your life. Maybe you want to be the first mother of his child. But you got to take a back seat because he has babies already. It's not about vilifying single mothers and this and that. It's just the reality. If we are adult here, and I'm not just talking about the age, it's emotional intelligence. How old are you emotionally? She responded like a young, immature woman. At the end of the day, it's his preference. It's his choice for his life. Why vilify anybody for that, man or woman?
There was a moment in time where I felt like you were difficult to deal with. But I would ask myself, like, why does she always want this from me? Why does she want that? Why does she complain about this? Until I had a certain shift in my perspective. And I want everybody listening to understand this, that things and people are only difficult when you don't know how they work. The moment I decided to become a student of you, the moment that I had the desire to understand and respect who you were at your core, you stopped being difficult. When you understand your partner, you will start to operate in a different way because you understand the triggers. You understand why they respond to certain things in a certain way, so you start to handle them with more care. And when you take the time to really get to learn your partner in that way, man, your partner goes from being difficult to being a blessing.
Oh, listen here. I'm in class. I'm ready to learn. We turn from being difficult to being a blessing. That was some meat right there. That was good.
As a woman that's usually deemed masculine when it comes to conversations, because dudes don't like when women have an opinion for some odd reason, I think that two things can be true at once. I think that it can be a world that says, you know, we don't need men, but we want men. And I think that it's a world that exists for SD where it's a super soft-spoken and feminine woman that's just there to do whatever daddy says.
Yes,
Daddy.
Not daddy,
I'm
Zaddy.
sorry, daddy says, and cooks dinner and gives him the wherever he wants and anytime, and that's great. But I just think that instead of demonizing each world, we should just have a conversation about it. So with you, that's cool. You don't have to want to fuck a bitch like me. My husband want to fuck a bitch like me.
I don't like her attitude. This young woman came out the gate with a chip on her shoulder, seems like to me. And my biggest thing is when you're speaking to people, like say you have influence of some sort, somebody wants to listen to her. This channel does well, people want to hear it. So you got to be careful with your influence because she's speaking to a whole group of women who think that whatever she's saying applies to them too, and that's not the case. So you got to be careful when you spewing your venom, because I've heard her speak quite a few times. She seems a bit disgruntled, to be honest. We all have internal work to do and stuff like that, but the biggest difference is when you got your stuff to deal with, you got to be real careful putting that off on other people. Maybe her husband wants to deal with her. I would love to see who her husband is. I would love to see what this man is about, what he looks like, what his temperament is, because all we see and hear from is her all this time, right? So does that really fly at home? I don't disagree with her in the point that let's have a conversation. But again, look at her. I mean, some guy would be fine with that. But what she's spewing, and I said spewing, is detrimental and is damaging at best. And it doesn't apply to every woman. And what you end up doing is giving these women a lot of times, you're giving them false hopes and dreams. Like, yes, girl. Meanwhile, she's out here struggling as a regular woman. I remember her saying, her husband doesn't even like that she wears weave and this and this and this and this and this and this and this, right? But she's probably able to pull whatever the case. Let's just be real with it. So I just think you got to be careful when you have influence, because people listen to that and they think that they can just run out and do and be and, get totally blindsided and surprised that they didn't get the same response like this woman did. Like, yeah, you're not going to get that same response. You just got to be careful. Nah, thanks, but no thanks.
5 things black people do or say when we're in traffic. Number 1, speeding up to catch the person that cut you off so you can look them in their face. Oh, you just gonna cut me off, huh? I forget my life, forget my kids. They can be orphans. Number 2, the this hand. And it's always MFer, okay? It's never a-hole, it's never it's always this this You just gonna hit on your brakes on the highway? Huh? Number 3, judging the person's driving based on their vehicle's appearance. See, that's why your look like that now. Busted up, driving all crazy. Number 4, daring somebody to hit us so we can sue. Now, you see the way this truck's swerving right here? I wish you would hit me. I have a brand new car in the house tomorrow. I'm gonna play dead. I'm gonna pull up to the hospital dead. Number 5, blaming the devil for you running late. All this traffic. The devil be busy. Where all these people go?
Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed yourselves. Listen, the Gary Lamb Network is a viewer-supported channel.
Yeah, there are multiple ways you can support the channel directly or through the platform itself. All the links will be in the description below. This is Gary Lamb signing off. You guys have a good one.